I don't know why it said. Now it started.
That's okay. And deliberately, I did not want this on YouTube. I want to have a Zoom so that people take efforts to actually log in and join. Anyhow, guys, so good morning, everyone. This is a heart to heart conversation, very candid conversation, right? So, I have been discussing with the various leads of the COE on what's a defining marker for a great instructor. If somebody is in academics or we are dealing with a lot of learners, what should be a defining marker of a great instructor?
Yeah.
So somebody might say, if you ask students, somebody might say the one who has 500 students. Then the second person will say the one who has 1,000 students. Third person will say, oh, somebody who has 10,000 students, he's a great guy. you know we at COE do not believe in these silly metrics. What we believe in is somebody who is teaching anyone, like especially in the COE across the board. We want people to have, we are not, it is not by the number of students somebody has taught. People should have the depth of projects they have delivered across the industries. They should have the confidence with real practice. Because I think I wrote somewhere, anybody can teach, basic theory, basic concepts here and there, fragmented concepts. If if everybody was, able to learn through those fragmented concepts, I mean, we were just talking about the data days and how great people have good intentions, but sometimes students are coming back and saying, "Hey, we are not learning anything." So anybody can explain tools, but if an instructor has built himself some retail, finance, healthcare, logistic, manufacturing, energy, that kind of a guy can bring a different gravity to the room. The students can feel it, organizations can trust it, and the mentees, they grow faster. We at COE do not measure how many enrollments we have. Like today we launched a seminar. We didn't wait for, let me gather 100 students, let me gather 200 people. We don't care about those numbers. If we have something important to speak, we just thought, we didn't prepare. I first called up one lead. He was busy, so I just said, hey Sanjay, are you available? Can we go live and do a seminar? So this is impromptu, without any preparation kind of seminar. But you will see a difference where we give you real experience of the exam, and then we'll talk to you about two great offerings, excellent offerings that we have worked on, and we're going to bring it to you. I have requested uh, Sanjay to be my voice today. I mean, I'll be there, but when we are delivering, when we I think we will have couple slides as well. So when we are using the material, you will see that uh, um, on the behalf of the COE for the community, Sanjay will walk you through those slides, and all of us, me, Aradhya, Sanjay, and maybe there are a couple other leads, will be there to address any questions towards the end of it. So, once again, great teaching is measured, when people that are learning, whether they are student or not, I don't care. If they can say with confidence that I have the ability and the confidence. I'm feeling much better to take this exam, or much better to uh, perform in the industry. I have clarity. I have complete clarity. That's when I feel that I'm satisfied. Uh, somebody, anybody that's not speaking, can you please go on mute? Thank you. So, having said that, let's get started formally. I would request Sanjay on behalf of the COE to bring up our material on the screen and walk us through the discussion that the leads have had about the DP 700, and give us some candid, because I don't want to see, normal conversation about DP600. Anybody can go to the website or anything and and find out basic info on it. But let us talk about some hard hitting facts on the exam itself, so that people feel a little more comfortable and better prepared, because the goal is we want a lot of people to get great jobs and be recognized. Over to
Yeah.
Sanjay. Over to you, Sanjay.
Yeah, yes. So, like before we start, first I want to give you some context on DP700 for those who are completely new to like what DP700 is. So basically, DP700 is a fabric, you can say Microsoft Fabric certification. So there are two certifications. One is for data engineering, and another one is analytics related. So analytics related is DP600, and data engineering is related to the you can say DP700. So they complement each other. They are not the same. So first I want to make it clear about like what is the difference between both. So analytics is more focused on, you can say, Power BI, DAX, SQL, and all those things. Data engineering is more focused on the Lakehouse, Event House, KQL, T-SQL, and all these concepts related to data engineering like pipelines, etc. So what we are going to talk today is this, not this one. So for this, we may have a separate session at later point of time, but right now we are focused on this one. So let me bring up the presentation. So what we are going to cover in this session is like what should be your strategy to crack the DP700 exam. Now here there are few things which you need to understand. Okay. So first thing is what are different question types you will get. How will you try to come to the right answer, and also how will you try to manage the time, as well as how will you prepare for the exam. So these are the three main things which you will be talking about, which we'll be talking about. Now specifically, I think all of you know what is the COE, and here within COE we have like different umbrella of communities. And as you know, like we are focusing a lot on data engineering, like Azure Fabric, and a lot of offerings are there. Now specifically DP700, as you know, it talks about Fabric. Now when we talk about Fabric, we have a Fabric COE, which is the general group, where we have all the updates, and there's also a PySpark dedicated group where we talk mainly about the PySpark. So these are the two main communities which are related to Fabric. And now let's talk about how to prepare for DP700. Okay. So the first thing which you have to keep in mind when it comes to DP700 is you have to leave your analytics mindset and start thinking like a data engineer, because most of the times, I mean, I've seen a lot of people coming from Power BI background, but if you want to crack DP700, you have to start thinking more towards the back end, so more like a data engineer. So I think that is where a good starting point is. And second thing is, even your thought process should change. Like the way how analytics engineer thinks and way how data engineer thinks are two different things, right? So you have to start thinking like a data engineer, and you also have to interpret things from a data engineer point of view. And next thing which I want to tell you is, even like let's say there is a question which comes to you. So when you are trying to approach the answer, you need to understand what that scenario is talking about. Like for example, okay, are we talking about pipeline? Are we talking about lake house? Are we talking about event house? So you need to know the context very clearly, right? So that, I mean, these are three, four major things which you have to keep in mind. Now, when we talk about question types, now these are like different question types which you will see in the exam. So there'll be scenario based, there'll be architectural choice questions, security based, data modeling, medallion architecture, performance related, code recognition, fill in the blanks, drag and drop. Like basically, you have to put the steps in the order. So that is what I mean by drag and drop. Or sometimes you have to match the categories, and then you also finally have the case studies. Now you need to know how to handle this format as well, because even if you prepare well for the exam, if you are not familiar with the format, then in the exam you might panic, or you might be spending some time looking around things. So getting familiar with the format is also very, very important. Now first
So,
let's talk about scenario based questions.
Sanjay, 1 second. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Because I was wanting to spend a little more time on this particular slide to
Yeah,
explain what does it really look like, because no, many places I've seen do not talk about these type of formats and what are sample questions really look like, because some people go and take the exam and they say, sir, I saw a screen which they were saying which three choices are correct, instead of asking me one choice. They saw a screen and they were not able to know, they did not understand the screen itself. You
yeah, yeah, got it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so see, for example, when we talk about like how questions look like let's say if you talk about scenario-based questions, now they will give you like one situation, and then they'll ask you to pick the best choice among the given answers. Now, I mean, given the multiple choice you have. So here, sometimes what happens is there could be more than one right answer, but you have to choose the answer which is the best among the four. It you see, there could be a situation where first option is good, option is also good, third is also good. But among those three, whichever is the best, you have to choose. And similarly, when we talk about architecture choice questions, so here they will talk more about okay, which tool do you have to use? Like for example, okay, should you use a notebook or should you use a pipeline? So, for example, the question might say, okay, the approach should be low code, no code, and ETL has to be done. Then, in that case, like which tool is appropriate? Then they'll give you like notebook, data flow, pipeline, like they'll give you different options. So, because they mentioned it is low code, no code, yeah, and it is focused for the business users, so that is a hint for you to pick a data flow over notebook. Now technically speaking, either using notebook you can achieve what you want to achieve, or even with data flow also you can achieve the same thing, but because they specifically mentioned it is targeted towards non-IT or business users who will be using that, so that architecture will obviously change as per the business requirements. And if you take security and governance questions also, like for example, they might talk about, for example, different roles which are available. So let's say you have a fabric workspace. There are different roles, and at fabric level you have like fabric admin role. Then you have a role as a Microsoft 365 admin. Then within workspaces you have different like four types of roles which are there. So they'll try to ask questions around the roles, like how will you do the data governance, the access control, and all these things. And when you talk about data modeling and medallion architecture, yeah, this is very predictable. So they'll talk about bronze, silver, gold, and they will specifically talk about your data modeling aspect as well. Like for example, your fact tables, dimension tables. So there'll be one or two questions on this data modeling part. So when we talk about the transaction table, for example, or a dimension table, where we are having some information related to products or customers, etc. So the main thing you have to keep in mind is your data modeling talks about your schema as well, like star schema, snowflake schema, one to one, one to many, many to many relationship. All these things are covered here. So you have to be thorough with those fundamentals and basics. The main thing here is the concepts of data modeling are simple, but options can be little confusing, right? So that's where you have to pay a little bit of attention. And when it comes to medallion architecture, yeah, here also it's the same thing. The concept itself is simple, but the way how the question gets framed and the kind of choices which you get, there you have to be little careful. Now the next part is operational and performance questions. Now here what you will see is probably I could tie the scenario based and operational performance questions to like very closely related, because what they will do is they'll give you a very big scenario, and then they will give one solution. They will only suggest, hey, for this scenario this is the solution we are using, do you think it's the best approach? Something like that they'll ask. So then you have to give true or false answer, like yes or no question you have to answer. Now some operational and performance questions will be along the lines of, okay, let's say if you are using I mean they'll give you like a particular context, and then they will ask you to say, okay, how do you make this better, like how will you improve the performance? Okay, will you use optimize, will you use vacuum, or will you use z ordering, v ordering? So that you have to be familiar, like the terminology you have to be familiar when we talk about operational and performance questions, like what is a broadcast join, what is optimized vacuum. Like there could be a question which says that, okay, there are so many small files which are there, how will you consolidate those files into larger files, and how will you get the best performance, something like that. Similarly, code recognition questions, here you may got they'll give you a code, and there could be like fill in the blanks as well, or they could also ask you to pick something from a drop down, something like that will be there. So like these questions can come around, like T-SQL will be there, uh, KQL will be there, PySpark will be there. There'll be different, I mean, they might give question in any of these languages which are relevant to the data engineering, and they might ask you to pick the best choice among them. Like for example, there is one question specifically where it talks about group by versus roll up. Now a lot of people are familiar with group by in SQL. So in SQL, for example, we have, so when you talk about SQL, there is group by. Now group by everyone says, but there is also one function called roll up as an example. Now many people get misled here. So they'll give you a drop down which talks about group by and roll up, but the question they'll miss out, because in the question they says they want year wise sales, for example. The minute you see year wise sales, immediately you'll go and say, okay, group by is better because roll up very few people have heard. But in the question, what they will say? They'll say they want year-wise sales, and they also want group total. So group total or group summary. So this particular thing people miss out. The second part, this particular thing people miss out. So what they will do, instead of selecting roll up as your drop down option, people go and select group by, and there they will actually lose out. So even when it comes to the coding questions, or like you can say the T-SQL or PySpark questions, the concepts themselves are easy if you are learning. But when you talk about these concepts in the context of the exam, you have to be very careful. You have to read the question properly, then only you have to choose, because the options will be very close to each other. Now, let's say they said only they want they want year-wise sales, but they don't want a group summary. Then yes, then group by is better option. You don't need a roll-up. So you really have to read the question carefully before you answer, because even after answering, let's say you get out of the exam, then I mean the exam is over. You got out of the exam. You will be under the impression that, yeah, I have marked all the wrong answers. Why did I fail? So this is where you have to be very careful with your basics and the context especially. Now hotspot questions, like these are like basically fill in the blank. Now in fill in the blank questions, again it's the same thing. Like, so there will be blanks which will be given, and there you will be given choices where you have to fill. Now here also it's the same thing. Concepts themselves are easy, but when you try to fill the answers in the exam during the time limit, that is where you can make mistakes. Yeah, same, you have to be careful for here also. Now drag and drop classification questions, I would say these are of medium to high level difficulty. Like most of the time what happens is, since these are drag and drop questions, like basically in the interface, you will find the drag and drop questions where you have to drag the different boxes or blocks into the right set of categories. Now here one mistake what people do when it comes to these kinds of questions is, there will be confusion. Like for example, think of it this way: there will be block 1, block 2, block 3. So three blocks will be there. For example, three blocks will be given to you. Now you can take this block and put it somewhere like this. You have to match them, something like this. It's more like a drop down only. But good thing about block questions is, I mean the drag and drop questions is, once you move a block, you know for sure that the other two will be remaining. So here it will be little better compared to drop down, because in drop down you don't know which one to choose. There is no elimination. But here sometimes you'll put block 1 and block 2, and then you'll realize block 3 really doesn't fit into anywhere. Then again you'll go back and recheck, and you'll be able to adjust yourself. So that's okay, you can handle. Even if they are little difficult, still you can handle. The case study questions are where lot of time you have to spend. The case study
Sanjay,
will be very.
Sanjay, one sec. So in the drag and drop, the mistakes I have seen people do across the board is, so
Hmm.
let's say there is a situation where they ask you, what will you do first? What is the, suppose something has to be achieved by in 3 steps. They are going to tell you, in the drag and drop, what is the first step, what is the second step, what is the third step in a sequence. So if you drag
Yeah.
and drop in the wrong places, that's going to cost you, right? You have to drag
Mm.
and drop in the right places. That is very important for the exam. And people sometimes, if they are not used to the pattern of the exam, they make mistakes. So this exam is not about memorizing something. That is number one. So with every, we curated this material for you very carefully, so that not only you understand each and every type, you understand what's happening. So you are, when you go to the actual exam, you are much better prepared for it because you understand it.
Yes. True. Ye- Yes, that's true. I mean, yeah, you also need to know the sequence of events only when I think when you have hands-on, it'll be easy. You don't have to memorize, basically. Yes, and finally we have the case study questions. Now, case study sizes are very big, right? They will give you a lot of context. Now, the way how I mean, how case studies look is there will be like different tabs on the side, like this. So, tab one, tab two, like one below the other, it will be there instead of side by side. So, what will happen is you have to click each tab and you have to read the content. And finally, there will be a question below, like there'll be 4 or 5 tabs, and there you should be able to correlate. So these case studies will take little bit of time, and when you're reading questions also, like once you read the question, you'll go back to the case, again you'll come back to the question, again you'll go back to the case, like back and forth. You have to do it 2 3 times, at least for the first question. Like there'll be question 1, question 2, question 3, like that, etc. Now, by the time you come to second question, you'll understand it little bit. Now, sometimes you may go up to question 3 or question 4, and then you'll remember something, maybe some insight, and you'll go back and change. So here, some bit of back and forth you will be doing, because given the time constraint and the patience level which we have at this moment, like you can say, because there'll be a lot of other questions. We don't want to spend too
Yeah.
much time, and we are not in a normal pace of time, or in a normal situation where we will have that patience. We'll be like rushing. We'll be
Lot
having
of
that anxiety that we are running out of the time, right?
Yes, and a lot of people have told us, and we have variety of feedback. So a lot of people have told us that we were, there were some simple questions asked in typical four choices. We were able to complete it in less than a minute or maybe 30 seconds, where we knew the right answer because we had hands-on practice. But when it comes to case studies, literally you have to read a paragraph, a big paragraph, and you have to have the, and it obviously it's in a typical D English, so you have to have patience to read through the paragraph and then figure out what are the top one or two things they are really asking me. You have to exercise judgment. You may have to understand what are the trade-offs. So that is this part. These case study kind of questions become very important, where many people say that we were able to answer simple questions, but we have had difficulties in case kind of questions because they haven't done any case studies when they were studying, right? So that's why Sanjay is stressing a lot on the case study part. Please, Sanjay, over to you.
So this is pretty much about like different question types which are there and how you have to tackle them. Now, like when we talk about these questions which are there, like you see here, I have summarized like what are like different questions which will be there, and what topics which will be covered. So now we'll go in detail. So scenario based questions, these are like like some of the examples which are there, and what you have, like I mentioned before, you have to think like an engineer. Like only when you have hands on, you'll be able to handle the scenario based questions. Now, when we talk about architecture questions, you have to be very careful with your terminology. Like there are a lot of new terms you'll come across in fabric. Like for example, I have seen people who think that lake house and warehouse are same, and I have also seen people who say that data lake and delta lake are same. So you should know the differentiation between all these terms. Like lake house is different, data lake is different, and delta lake is different, warehouse is different, event house is different. So if you look at the terminology, you have to be very careful with what terminology is being used and where it is used and all. So if you are not familiar with the terminology, please get familiar with terminology, because I have actually seen real time data engineers also uh, substituting one term in place of another, especially the junior data engineers who are just beginning their career. So you have to be very careful when you're talking about these things. Like, you should exactly know what you're talking about. So if you have a doubt, go back, revisit, and come back. It will be little confusing at the beginning, but you have to get familiar. No choice. And similarly, I have seen people who think that data flows and data pipelines are same. So some people think that, okay, pipeline also we put one thing after the other, from left to right. Flow means it is like flow of events, so both are same. So be very careful again with terminology. All these terms look very similar to each other. You have to be absolutely clear about the differences between all these terms. That is very important. And similarly for notebook also, you have to be clear about at least the basics. Like for example, a lot of people, when we talk about notebooks, they get confused between Jupyter notebook and the Fabric notebook versus Databricks notebook. So when we are talking about notebooks, here we are talking about Fabric notebooks. So some features will be different. Like, I'll give you a very good example. Now in Databricks, you have DB utils. Now the DB utils is Databricks utilities. That is not available in Fabric. So don't get confused that DB utils will be there here. So try to understand the difference between platforms as well. So DB utils, yes, it is there if you are using Databricks. But here there is no concept of DB util. There is Microsoft utils which are there, right? MS utils will be there, like something different. Like that is different, and this is different. Those nuances also you have to understand. And when we talk about security and governance questions, so already I talked about different roles, and in addition to that, you also have to talk about compliance, like policies, like for example, encryption, data loss prevention policies, GDPR compliance. Now these are useful for your interview and all. In questions, I haven't seen much on data loss prevention policies or GDPR or compliance related, but still these are some of the things which are good to know, so that you don't have to memorize things. If you are familiar with these concepts, then you don't have to put much effort to relearn these things. One time if you learn, these skills are transferable across different platforms. Like for example, principle of least privilege. Whether you are working in Fabric or Databricks, that concept will remain the same no matter which platform you're using. So some of these things you have to be like more familiar with. So that is about these questions. And now coming to medallion architecture, I already talked to you, right? So bronze, silver, gold. Now here also you have to be very clear about what does bronze layer does, what is silver, and what is gold. I have seen people talk, I mean, getting confused. Like for example, people talk about gold in place of silver. People talk about bronze in place of silver. So you have to be very careful with your classification or differentiation. So where you are building what. Now the reason why I'm talking about this, because like I have seen people saying that you'll do data cleaning in bronze. Now, one of the reasons why people say that way, because generally when we land the data into bronze, from bronze we'll pick up the data and do the data cleaning and land it to silver layer. That means even though you have picked up the bronze data, you read the data in bronze, you are actually transforming and putting it into silver layer. So your transformation happens in between bronze and silver. That means what? You'll only see the clean version of the data in silver layer, but not in the bronze. Your bronze will be 1:1 copy of your original data source. So I have seen people getting confused, because we generally use, so it is like this. In real time, there'll be a bronze to silver notebook, and then there'll be silver to gold notebook. Because we are cleaning the data in bronze to silver, some people assume that we are doing cleaning in the bronze layer. No, bronze is just a landing zone. In between bronze and silver you will do the cleaning, but finally your output will come into silver, your cleaned data. So this is the actual understanding, but some people, they are still thinking that, okay, we do all the cleaning in bronze, we are only reading the raw data from bronze and then doing the cleaning, but we are not actually doing anything in the bronze layer. So that you have to be very clear as a beginner. And the same confusion arises with gold as well. So for gold also, the same principle will apply. So when we say we are aggregating the data, we are not aggregating it in the silver itself. We are reading the silver tables, aggregating them, and then landing them into gold. So this happens somewhere in between the silver and gold layer. So this is the major difference you have to identify. And when we talk about operational and performance, like one of the worst things I have seen when it comes to a lot of candidates is this is something which will help you both in your interviews as well as your exam, operational and performance related. Many people cannot tell many people cannot talk about scheduling and triggering. Triggers and schedules is such an important topic. Neither in the interviews people are able to answer. No, I mean, I'm not just talking about fabric. I'm talking about data factory, fabric. I'm talking about you can say data bricks, you can say the notebooks, like wherever the scheduling can be there, wherever triggers can be included. I'm talking about all platforms. So this is such an important topic that people actually don't even pay attention to. In the exam, yeah, maybe you will get one question, maybe one or two questions, but in real time, very very important topic you have. And on the similar grounds, you also have these caching techniques. Like there is a very popular interview question in like for example Databricks as well as in Fabric, which talks about cache versus persist, which we use in PySpark. Even though here we don't talk about that much about it here, but in interviews that will really help you. So your preparation should be in such a way that it should help you to clear the certification, and it should also help you to clear your interviews as well. Like they have to complement each other. And code recognition questions, I already told you, right? Like there'll be, so this example also I have given you when it comes to coding questions. So you have to be very careful to recognize that context, and you have to make sure that you're thorough with your fundamentals. So you have to be good with your logic, you have to recognize the pattern, and you have to see the syntax, like how it is written, full stop, comma, and all those things. And then you also have to be good with your queries. Right here, I have clearly mentioned the same SQL roll-up snippet. Very clearly, I have explicitly mentioned the same here. And KQL also. KQL also is something different. Now, I have seen people again, I'm commenting. So, people think KQL and SQL are same. No, they are both different. KQL is Kusto query language. SQL is structured query language. So both are different. So don't get confused between both. KQL, yeah, there might be similarity in terms of syntax, but
Yeah, people confuse KQL and TQL,
similarly
TSQL as
filling the
well.
blank I already talked about. Huh. But Microsoft flavor of SQL. We also use MS SQL in real time when you talk. Both are not same, but yeah, synonymous. Both are synonymous when we talk in real time context, right? MS SQL means Microsoft SQL or T SQL. So T SQL is just a flavor of SQL. So think of it like okay. Now imagine you have like a candy. Now you have different flavors of candy. Now think of SQL as a candy, but TSQL is like, let's say, an orange flavor or a lemon flavor, like that. So it is like a flavor of SQL, right? Offered by Microsoft. So think of it that way. So try to understand the differences between them. And drag and drop, we already talked about. Like you have to match the blocks which are there. Those we already talked about. And case studies I already talked about, right? Long scenarios will be there, and you have to be really quick in understanding what the scenario is, and you need to have that patience as well. I mean, they'll real case study questions will really test your patience for sure, right? Even if you have hands-on experience, still they'll test your patience because too many things will be mentioned in the case. So you only have to pick what is relevant to answer that particular question. So that is the case study. Now let's talk about some traps, right? Some of the traps which you will come across, which you may fall into during the exam. First thing is, don't rush. I understand. That's why I was talking, right? Patience. So there will be a rush. So make sure that you keep track of the timer. The timer will be there on the top right corner. You will have enough time. So don't read too fast. At the same time, don't read too slow. Maintain that pace. And second thing is, always try to see, like for example, sometimes you'll see a question, the answer is very simple, but still you'll be thinking, because you may think that okay, there is some twist in the question, or maybe you're missing something, and you'll end up spending a lot more time just thinking that okay, is this a trap? So don't overthink on the easy questions. That is one thing which is there. And also on the coding questions, especially on KQL or even T-SQL, I have seen people spending too much time and losing out on the other questions which actually need more time. So if you are stuck with a question, okay, if you are stuck somewhere, mark it for review. Mark it for review. Move on to the next question, and finally, towards the end of the exam, you can come back, right? So that is what you have to do. I mean, I don't have to explain this. I think enough competitive exams you might have written. So take advantage of this feature which is there. And another important thing which I want to tell you is, in exam you will have access to Microsoft Learn, right? On the left side there will be a pane. If you click on that, you will get Microsoft Learn. The portal will open. Now, sometimes what happens is you want to cross check your answer. So you'll go, I mean, you'll click on the Microsoft Learn icon. You'll go, you'll start searching, but you'll not find the answer. Then what people do is they'll go click one link, they'll click another link. They'll get into the trap of just getting stuck in Microsoft Learn. There also you have to be careful that you are not getting into that loop, right? In the middle of the exam. And you, like I mentioned, there could be some questions where there could be more than one right answer. So in that situation, you have to pick the best one compared to the one which is better. So you'll have good answer, you have better answer, and you have the best answer. So you have to pick the best one, even though all three are correct. So that is one thing. And here are some cheat sheets which you can follow. So whenever we are talking about retries or scheduling, generally we talk about pipeline. When you talk about warehouse, only SQL you can use, like endpoint. I mean, in Lakehouse you can use SQL endpoint. In warehouse you will exclusively use T-SQL. Generally, we deduplicate or do the cleanup in the silver layer. This is what I was talking earlier. Many people think it is bronze. So similarly, dimension model, you do it in gold layer. High volume data, like something coming from IoT or something like that, you'll use an event house. Similarly, different types of triggers, and similarly performance optimization techniques which are there: repartition, optimize, coalesce, z ordering, v ordering, all these things are there. Now, what is the scoring which you have to do? Any score which you get more than 70% will help you to pass the exam. Now, even if you miss some questions, it's okay, because some people, what they do is, just to achieve perfection, they'll try to study all questions, but they'll end up getting confused, or they'll end up not answering most of the questions because of the rush, or because of too many things running in their mind. So remember that your score will not appear anywhere in the certification. Like, let's say once you get certified in this Microsoft exam, nowhere your score will be mentioned, and nobody will even know what your score is. So as long as you get more than 70%, it's okay. Whether, so it's a score based out of 1,000. Whether you get 700 or you get 800 or 900 or 1,000 out of 1,000, it doesn't matter, because neither it appears in the certificate nor people can verify. Even let's say tomorrow if you apply for a job, no one will ask you this question. They'll only ask whether you are certified or not. So just try to get somewhere around 800 to 900. That is enough. You don't have to stress too much on getting 1,000 out of 1,000. I mean, you can get it if you want, but again, not needed. Somewhere between 800 to 900 is good, balanced. Even if anything above 700 is pass. Here in exam there is only pass or fail, because score really doesn't matter. So make sure that even if you are getting your score, see, as long as it crosses 700, you are good. In simple words, anything above which you want to get, it's for your own self satisfaction. That's it. No employer or nobody will come and ask how much you scored. By the way, you can even say that you scored around this particular range, and no one will go and cross check, right? So that you don't have to worry, because I have seen many people worrying too much about their score and all these things. You don't need to worry that much, right? So they'll only see whether you scored, I mean, whether you cleared the certification, yes or no. Now when you talk about practice, like how do you practice? So what you have to do when it comes to practicing is, like you need to be strong with theory. Like when I say theory, especially the terminology. Second is you need to have hands-on. When you have hands-on, here I'm talking about handling different scenarios. Like for example, uh, what kind of scenarios did you handle in pipeline, lake house, like different components, the scenarios will be different. And when you combine everything, again, the scenario will be different when you combine and do the hands-on, right? So the you have to balance between both. Some people I see they are very good with theory, not good with hands-on. Some are good with hands-on but not with theory, but you should know how to balance between both if you want to pass the exam. And prep timeline, if you ask me, around 30 days you can target. But if you are already having hands-on experience with fabric, if you have started building projects, portfolio and all, then I think it should not take more than 2 weeks of time. Maximum 4 weeks, minimum you can prepare in 2 weeks if you already have hands-on. And finally, the last, like let's say you're taking the exam. So here, even before I talk about it, I want to tell you one thing. Can someone tell me what is the difference between a hobby and a goal? Those who know, don't answer. Those who are hearing this for the first time, you try to answer. Hello?
Anyone, guys? You're all unmuted so that you can speak. So Sanjay's question is, what do you understand by a hobby versus having a goal? Anyone?
A goal, a goal which doesn't have any deadline is a hobby.
Yeah. Like one of the things which I keep on repeating at least like 100 times is, if your goal doesn't have a deadline, or if you are not goal without tracking, is a hobby. When you say you have a goal to clear DP 700, then every day you have to track your progress. If you say, if you say that you have a goal of clearing DP 700, there should be a deadline for it. So, okay, imagine your deadline to clear DP 700 is 15th December, for example. Let's say this is your deadline. Then you have to start doing two things. First thing is, okay, this is your deadline already. First thing is sorted. Now, how are you tracking your progress? This is also important. Like, for example, people will say, I'm preparing for DP 700. Now, that is a very vague term. That's a very vague way of saying that you're preparing. Okay, if you are preparing for, so people will say, I'm preparing for DP 700. Now, doesn't make any sense. Why? Because what do you mean by preparation? It's a very generic term. It's like saying, like if someone asks you any question, it's like telling very, it's like, for example, if you ask me, hey, can you give me suggestion on how to clear DP 700? What if I tell you, hey, daily study for 1 hour, you can clear it without giving you any pointers? It's like that. So it's a very vague answer. You have to start tracking. Like, okay, today, like for example, if I ask you, okay, you are preparing for DP 700, what is your progress? Then you have to say, yeah, 40% of prep is done, or 30% is done, or 20% is done. And the funny thing is, people do not even know the syllabus of DP 700. I have seen a lot of people preparing for DP 700, and when I ask them, okay, can you show me where the syllabus of DP 700 is, many people do not know where the syllabus is. That's the biggest irony here. Now, when you do not even know where the syllabus of the exam is, how are you saying that it's your goal? And where is the deadline? And how are you tracking it? So it's funny. Like many people, they'll say, "Oh, I cleared DP 700, still I'm not getting a job." Yes, why will you get a job when you're just treating it like a hobby? So when you say you're serious about DP 700, so you have to be clear about your deadline, your tracking. You should know, if you want to track, first of all, you should know what you have to cover, right? So if you do not know what is the syllabus, how will you track? How are you telling me that you have completed 20%? There should be a basis when you give a number, right? Some reference point should be there. So that's why I am very clear about this goal versus hobby thing. That's why I clearly, repeatedly tell this.
Sanjay,
Do not.
I
Yeah.
have a question. Okay, so
Mm,
yeah, I mean, people hopefully will understand that we should not treat it like a hobby, but as a smart
mm,
goal, and have like a written idea, or they can ask COE mentors or even other certified people on what was their
mm,
experience. Now, I want to ask you one thing, Sanjay. So,
mm,
typically, there are 100 minutes for this exam. That's the
mm,
best information that we have from the Microsoft official website. We also know, although they don't
mm,
specifically mention there what how many questions will be there, but
mm.
in general, 40 to 60 questions are on the exam.
Yeah.
Uh, so what should be my strategy suppose I'm a beginner, what should
Mm,
be my, because most people are able to clear exam early, right? But
mm,
I'm a beginner, I'm a newbie, I have practiced, I've done some hands-on, and I've studied for like maybe a week or 2 weeks or whatever the time frame they have decided for themselves, they studied. What should be my strategy looking at 100 minutes and about say assume that 60 are there questions,
mm.
and they are a combination of all those types you have talked about. There can be all different type of questions. So on smaller questions, maybe I'll take say 30 seconds or one
When it
minute.
comes to See, when it
But
comes to
on
time
case
management,
studies,
see when
like
it
you
comes
said, on
to
case studies we have to spend a little more time, right?
See, Arun, here again I'll tell you. Okay, imagine your exam has 50 questions. Okay, imagine 50 questions. So let's say our target is 80%, and if I do 50, you have to answer only 40. I mean, yeah, you'll answer all 100. You have to be correct in 40 among the 50. There is no negative marking here. So it is better to focus on getting that 35 or 40 questions right than targeting to get all 50 questions right. So even if let's say someone is slow, what I will tell them is, even if you are taking some time, make sure that minimum 35 to 40 questions are correct.
Yeah, people spend, I've seen that people spend a lot of time on, like they'll pick up one edge case topic on KQL, something like which is like less important, and they will not spend time on the core, which is the architecture. Like medallion architecture is the more important topic, right? For this
Yeah.
particular exam. So what I wanted to convey to all the people as a mentor is focus on the right things on the exam, right? Don't spend too much time on something that you're unsure about, and where you could have gotten something else right, right? So that is a very important point as well. So guys, at this time we would like to take a small pause, because this is the first half of the first part of the session we want to talk about. We have two other it's a great surprise, especially for people like I'm seeing Madhur in the group. I'm seeing many other people who have asked, who had DM'd me or wrote in our groups. So we'll talk a little bit about that on behalf of COE. But I want to take a pause so that we can address if you have any questions that come to your mind about this particular exam. So, Prem, could you please, if I'm not sure if they're muted or unmuted, but please unmute them so that they can ask their questions. So, guys, if you have anything that you want to ask on this particular presentation or whatever Sanjay talked about practically, please ask.
Sanjay, I have one question.
Yeah.
So, what are the most focused topics such that I should get 80? Because I know case studies will. So, if I have limited time, I want to clear the certification by getting 80%. So, what are the most topics like top 10 or like top 5 so that I should not miss those topics? I should definitely revise and go to the exam.
Before Sanjay answers this, I have one good news I have for you, and the good news is I've had people both on DP 600 and 700. Not one person, not even one person. Again, I repeat, not even one person told me that they were short of time. So there is sufficient time for this exam. I mean, most people they get out in like 45, 50 minutes instead of the 100 minutes. That's the normal ratios I've seen. But let Sanjay, because Sanjay also is a DP 700 certified. So, uh, please, Sanjay, go ahead.
Yeah. See, it is difficult to pinpoint and say, but like what Arun has mentioned, there are some topics which you can prioritize less, like KQL. Few topics you can prioritize less. Like it's like a trade-off you have to do. Since we are not targeting 1,000 out of 1,000, we are only targeting, let's say, 80%. So there you can do a trade-off. Like some topics, like for example, event house can be skipped. I will tell you which topics can be skipped. I cannot tell which to prioritize. Now there is a difference. Why? Because other topics, any of them can dominate, but the
Sanjay,
topics which will dominate less will be this event
one,
house.
yeah,
Huh.
Sanjay, when so one of the practical feedback is, see, there's a
Hmm.
difference between DP 600 and 700. Their focus areas are different. So, for example, if you are preparing for 700, don't focus on obscure KQL edge cases. I would stay away from focusing on Power BI modeling details. Why? Because DP 700 is not a modeling exam. But if you talk
Exactly.
about 600, there'll be semantic modeling there. 700, it won't be there. Some people, what they do is they memorize fabric UI steps. So I would not focus too much on. I would not spend time on memorizing the fabric UI steps. So those will be some examples that you have that have low return. So I will avoid that low return trap.
Yes, yes. And these will be less priority. Now, highest priority, yeah, pipeline, lakehouse, warehouse. These three, I mean, everything will be revolving around these three mainly for DP 700. Now, Power BI, DAX, to certain extent, event house, semantic models, and KQL, I'll put it on a low priority. KQL, definitely, yes, you'll get questions for sure. There won't be DP 700 without KQL questions, but still, if I have to put it in a back burner, I will put these two topics in the back burner.
Any other questions, guys, on DP 700 exam? We have a lot to we have some more very important things to cover, so I want to keep moving fast. So,
Uh,
guys, if
and
you have
here,
any,
uh, and here, before I take up the next question, a very important thing I want to tell you. So I already told this before, and I'll repeat it again. Now, people ask, what is the importance of certifications? Okay. Now, everybody will have a different opinion on this, but if I have to tell you, like there are multiple examples which I can give. Forget about everybody's exam. Instead of giving some random person's example, I'll give you my own example, right? So I first got into the field of BI, like business intelligence, back in 2021, and I cleared my DA 100. Now it is called PL 300 in June 2021. That means I cleared it after getting my job. I got into core data engineering, like only focused on specialized data engineering role in September 25. And I cleared my DP 600, DP 700, both I cleared in October. You can say September ending or October beginning, somewhere around that time. You can say September or October. So, in other words, 5 years back, I mean 4 years back, I cleared my DA 100 after getting the job. Even DP 600, 700 also I cleared after getting my job. So if you feel that clearing a certification will get you a job, it might give you shortlisting preference, but it's not really going to guarantee giving a job. Definitely it'll add an edge. Like if you compare two candidates, one candidate without DP 600, 700, another candidate with DP 600, 700, definitely you will get an edge. But that will not give you an edge. Whether it was 2021 or 2025, I only got my job because of the portfolio, product portfolio. Product portfolio is one plus LinkedIn presence. These are the two things which helped me 4 years back, and these are the two things which also helped me in the current situation as well. Even at that time, like some people will say, ah, Sanjay, it's very easy for you to say you have 70,000 followers, blah, blah, blah. In 2021 June, I had what, only like 3,000 followers, not more than that, or not even 3,000. I think it's around 2,000 followers I had. That's it. Beyond that, I didn't have. Now I'm having, okay, 70K followers I have. That is today. But back then also I didn't have followers. Still, at that time also, my product portfolio and LinkedIn presence has helped. These are the number one things which will help you. Certificate, all these things are like add-on. These are like bells and whistles. It is like optional. After you join the company, like for example, I cleared these two exams, right? Like, I mean, I cleared DA 100 and I cleared these two as well. Now I haven't spent even a single rupee on this. Why? Because after joining the company, if I clear, I can claim. I can go and ask them, hey, can you please reimburse this cost for me? If I do it before, while job hunting or before I join the role, then what I need to do, I have to spend out of my own pocket. Even if I get, I mean, if you are getting a voucher 100% off, it's fine. But most of the vouchers are 50% off. Remember that you have to spend that 50% of that money. Whatever that 50% of the money, I would rather spend that money to time, money, whatever it is, to build my product portfolio, to make sure that I purchase my website domain, maybe a Wix domain or a Google Sites domain, and build a very nice website instead of spending that 3,000 or 4,000 on the certifications when I can get them for free after getting a job. So this is the thought process I followed. Like back then, when I had to renew my domain, I didn't waste my money on clearing these certifications. I first renewed my domain. I spent like couple of thousand rupees to renew my Wix domain, my portfolio website domain, and then once I got the job, I cleared it for free. Now same for DP 600 700 also. Like I think 1.5 month back, I paid, not 2 months back, I have paid my domain charges, like Wix plus domain both subscription for next 3 years. I spent like 3 4 thousand. After joining the job for free, I wrote both of the exams. So again, if you ask me, I would rather put this money on building my website, building my portfolio, than wasting my time on theory.
I want to say something very specific here. So, what
Huh.
we heard from Sanjay is invaluable information on an individual approach, right? Now, let
Hmm.
us think from the perspective of the employer. Assume that I am that employer. Now, what I
Hmm.
am thinking is, so, whether I recruited non certified candidates or certified
Hmm.
candidates, that's a separate story. What I want to say here is, now I have some clients that I have to service, right? I may be having 10 clients that I have to service. Now I'm a consulting company, or I'm Infosys, or I'm TCS, or I'm Wipro. What am I thinking, guys? I am thinking that in when I, as an account manager or a VP of a particular organization, is going and pitching my capabilities to a new client, what am I thinking? I want to pitch to the client that yes, I have the ability to do your project successfully because I have a team of 20 professionals who are ready. They are not only ready, they have hands on experience, they have worked in XYZ domains, they have, and you can see their sample work if you want. But not only they are hands on, but they are certified in DP 600 or 700, depending upon what the needs are, right? So, the certifications, whether you like it as an individual or not, some organizations will ask you to do it anyways. I'm not saying as a, I'm talking to many companies. People are successful candidates are reporting back to me and they are saying, "Sir, I joined." For example, one good example I have just from day before yesterday. Somebody from Capgemini said that I had joined the company, but they are asking me, "Can I get certified in? Can you please? It is a must that you get certified on XYZ in about 30 days." Right? So whether you like it or not, companies are sooner or later going to ask you. And majority of the companies are asking it right now because they are pitching to their own clients.
Yeah. So, like, if you like, just to summarize, if you ask me, I mean, whatever I gave you here is public information. It's there on my profile itself. So the point which I'm trying to tell here is, if I have to prioritize, if I have to say, okay, which is more important, I would always give priority to product portfolio and LinkedIn presence than certifications, because certifications anyway I'll get it for free. So that's how I will think, because anyway company will force me to clear them. They'll say, okay, can you please clear? We'll reimburse. Then why should I spend my own money when I'll going to get it for free by company themselves?
Now, one more thing, one more caveat in all of this is, guys, when you are getting the fabric data days are going on,
Hmm.
they are offering, they are being very gracious to offer. They are advocating fabric. It's the most. They say that it is the fastest growing certification. And they are spending a lot of money on that, and they're giving free vouchers. So if you are getting free
Exactly.
vouchers from Fabric community, you nobody has to pay anything. So why don't we take advantage of that? You will get your vouchers by the time whenever you apply, you will get the voucher in 2 weeks, and then by December 31st, they want a commitment that you will take the exam. We have enough time. So what are we waiting for when we don't have anything to lose? We don't have any money to lose, right? It's only our hard
Ex-
work. Can we not do some hard work?
Yes, exactly. And on a related note, so right now you have Fabric Days which is going on. First thing, I mean, with Fabric Days, if you follow the instructions, you'll get a voucher which will give you discount, either 50% or 100% discount you'll get. That is point number one.
One minute,
Point
Sanjay.
number, yeah,
On
yeah,
the DP 600 and on the 700, there is 100% voucher. On the Power BI, some people are learning Power BI. On that one, I believe that there is a 50% discount, but or
yeah,
voucher. For DP 600 as well as 700, they are 100% free, guys. So I would be crazy if I do not jump on this offer.
yeah, yeah, true. I mean, see, the reason why I mentioned discount 50 is in the worst case 50%, but in normal case 100%. Even if, let's say, they run out of the vouchers, for example, still 50% for sure they'll offer, if not 100%. So this is one thing. And there are also competitions which are running. Like, for example, I recently posted a question. Guys, how many of you are participating in the competition? I got very few responses. Maybe two or three people responded. That's it. Or maybe four people responded. That's it. It's a very disappointing thing, because if you are able to clear the certification but cannot participate in a competition, how are you thinking to crack a fabric engineer role? Competition will really talk about your hands-on and real-life skills. If you are not participating in the competitions, then how will you get your spotlight, or how will you blend into the community? And if you are telling that no, I'm not ready for the competition, then even if you are clearing the certificate, if you ask me, you can tear that certificate into two pieces and put it in recycling bin. Because there is no point of having a certification when you cannot do hands-on. If I have to prioritize my time to get a job, I would rather spend more time to participate in competitions, build my portfolio. I'll do fabric days and keep the voucher for myself for
Yeah,
future. But my
exactly, Sanjay.
prioritization will be
You
with
know,
portfolio and my competitions.
yeah, people get afraid by the word competition. People think, oh my God, now have to have a time block and now I have to study. No, guys, it when you participate in a competitive kind of a thing, even if you come last, at least you have the satisfaction that you witnessed something good, you prepared for it, right? And you are a part of the community, you are visible to the people, and
Yeah,
you can show that to the and people that, for example, let's say Sanjay participated in a communist competition, or Parul Singla participated in a competition, or Akriti or Prem Sai participated in a competition, and they came second, somebody came third, or or even if there was no first, second, third, some people were appreciated. So we can go take a look at their work, we can connect with them and go take a look at their work on what did they do differently, and then understand how can I modify my own approaches to perform much better next time. That
yeah,
confidence will give you um, ability to face the interviewers better, right? So guys,
absolutely. And
yeah,
like, for example, when we talk about this competition, let me just, I'll just show it. Fabric Days Pros Competition.
Sanjay, I want to quickly move on to. Thank you for showing this, but I want to quickly move on to Parul
Yeah.
Singla if she's here.
Yes, yes. Just
Because
I'll take 1 minute and
sure,
then
sure,
I will
sure,
just hand
sure.
over. Yeah, for example, there is this competition for students. If there is any college student, there is a separate competition. And for working professionals, there is separate competition for fabric data days. And this has been posted almost couple of weeks back, if I'm not wrong. So here they're asking you to build a Power BI resume and then enter into the competition by posting it into the contest gallery. So it's a competition open for all working professionals, and all the detailed instructions are given.
And
And
if
I
I
am really not sure why people are not participating, because everybody wants a job, everybody wants good skills in fabric, but if you are not participating in real life challenges, then it's of no use, right?
And Sanjay, one very good thing, one I appreciated your support for the global fabric community, Microsoft community, when you said you created one example for people and said, here as Sanjay, to help the global community, I am creating an example for you. And if you do not know how to prepare that, this is how you, here are the steps you can follow, here is how it can look like. So he gave one example also to motivate everybody across the board. It was open, I think it's all, Sanjay, I believe it's also on your LinkedIn, right? Where you posted
Yeah,
that example.
yeah, I posted my entry. Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for doing so much for the global fabric community, Sanjay. Uh, okay, having said that, so we got a lot of good information. I will take couple minutes. Parul, are you here?
Yes, Arun, I'm here.
Okay, so first of all, I wanted to congratulate Parul. I'm giving her a surprise because uh, she perhaps she was unwell yesterday and she got up on a Sunday morning. She was not expecting that I'll say hello to her, but I'm giving her a surprise. So congratulations again. I believe that you have cleared your DP 600 exam, the Fabric Analytics Engineer exam, which you had been working on because you have a lot of good hands-on experience. Um, Also, I believe that in future you'll also be taking DP 700. So first of all, congrats. Very quickly, I know we are going to do an experience sharing session with you in the future where you can talk about DP 600 and what particularly was your experience. But could you you've heard you were participating where you've heard about DP 700. Could you take couple minutes or 1 minute talk a little bit about your experience of DP 600? Just give us a sneak preview, like how long it was, what questions were, what kind of where the questions of the similar nature like Sanjay talked about. What
Sure.
did you feel? How was your how what do you feel about the exam? Were you did it make you happy? Did it make you was it time sufficient? Just 1 minute.
Sure, sure. So basically, the exam was for 1 hour and 40 minutes, which were to be supposedly be answering 50 questions around. And the experience was like like all exam takers, I was nervous. That is not true that you do not get exam jitters. And I think, Arun, you know that because I earlier was texting you in the morning that I'm getting that exam jitters about it. And
And I was sure you were very well prepared. We had discussed the approach, and you were very well prepared. But still, it's very obvious to get a little bit butterflies in the stomach before any performance. Huh?
yes, that was there. And, like I keep feeling like that is my preparation enough, like the sources that I refer to, the theory things that I refer to, and also whatever Sanjay told today, like the type of questions, they were exactly the same. Like
Right.
scenario based, the standalone questions, and how to answer them. The approach was absolutely right on point, I would
Spot
say.
on, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty much spot on. So the type is the same for both exams. It's just the focus of the exams are slightly different. Like I said, semantic modeling is a focus of one of the focus of the 600 exam. Anything
Yes.
else
So
you want to anything else you want to say quickly, because we are going to
yeah,
have
sure.
we are
So
definitely going to have a full-fledged experience sharing session where we allow people to ask a lot of questions, but not today.
sure. So I would say the plus point, Arun, that I had, while preparing for DP 600, although, like I have, like just started with the fabric, I would say Sanjay's morning batch that I have joined, it's pretty much useful, or you could say guidance. It's spot on. Like I'm able to relate to the questions, understand them in a better way, and
Wow. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll talk about the Surya stuff as well. So that's a separate. Thank you for saying that, though. That COE's batch you are appreciating.
yes.
Um, all right. So now we move on to. I will request Sanjay once more, because it's like really midnight in US where I'm from, where I'm speaking from. So I would request Sanjay to share about the two offerings that the COE has. Sanjay, can you lend me your voice and be a speaker?
Yes, sure. So I'll be sharing my screen. So first I will talk about the fabric. Uh, Sorry, first I'll talk about PySpark. Let me share my screen. So a lot of people, like, we got a lot of requests on you can say PySpark, especially like when you talk about PySpark, many people are struggling. So some people who are in Databricks and Azure, they are learning PySpark. Some people in Fabric, they are learning. Some people in other platforms, like you can say, they are also struggling in PySpark. Like whoever is in data engineering, this is one skill which every company is asking for in the interview rounds, and also in lot of the scenario based questions when they ask, they're focusing on PySpark along with other skills.
And
So
Sanjay, you don't know how many people have told me that yes, we are prepared with typical answers like white transformation, narrow transformation. Everybody, first of all, Sanjay, I'm really, really disturbed, sad. I don't know what words to use. People, there are people on, let's say TopMate or LinkedIn. Everybody is posting, here are the top 10 questions on. So what people are doing is they are purchasing those XYZ questions which have been generated in a silly way. And I can tell you that those questions, some of those questions, the theory is good. We know what the theory questions are. But when it comes to interviews, many people say, sir, we were able to answer some of the theory questions, but when they asked us about scenario based, we had an issue. We particularly, and there's a lot of people who said, whether regardless of whether doing uh, any kind of data engineering, they said, sir, we had a lot of problem with PySpark kind of questions, and we are so I asked them, I asked them, what is the problem with PySpark questions? Sir, they asked me about some palindrome, doing this, doing some basic questions on doing that. The moment I hear Pi plus Spark, I know what basically high level what Spark is, how it operates. But so the moment they add Pi word to it, I I don't know. I get scared that I have to learn a lot of coding. I may need to master Python. So they have this fear. And the books that are available, there are thousands of books available by Spark. If you note, there are thousands of people on LinkedIn who will say, do these 100 questions, do this 50 questions, but nobody talks about how to learn it in a structured way. Nobody talks about what is essential from the point of view of data engineering. Not because you are not being a data scientist or some other role where the needs are different. So our COE leaders sat down and said, we have to create something specific for our audience. We have to create something especially for global audience of data engineering and how they can benefit from it. So that's why on request this thing was created. So that was the backdrop of why we did this in the first place. because
Yes, I mean there are a lot
people were
of
failing the
messages which
interviews
Arun was getting, lot of requests.
across the board. Every leader of CO is getting this. The sir, we are able to clear other kind of questions that we have somehow understood, but our weakest link is the PySpark. So having said that, I have designed something that Sanjay is going to talk about.
Yes. So we are designing a new thing called PySpark Bootcamp. It will be for 4 weeks. The COE, it's offered by COE. So I mean, since Arun is on travel, so I'll be presenting this. So basically, it's like a boot camp focused only on PySpark, right? So it's like there'll be 4 case studies, and then each case study will talk about different scenarios. And since each there are 4 weeks, each week there'll be one case study which will be discussed, and everything will be hands-on. And it is for fast-paced learning. It is not like which will be dragged over a period of time. No, and it will be very fast. It will be like based on case studies, and it will be 100% hands-on. Of course there will be theory plus hands-on. That will be the structure. So there will
Mm,
be like total 4 case studies which you will be solving.
yeah, guys.
2 are foundational and 2 are advanced.
So now,
And
guys, when we say it is fast paced, don't think that, oh my God, fast paced means I have to run at 100 miles an hour. No, I do not expect you to be. Was it Volt, Hussein Volt? I don't want you to be Hussein Volt. What
yeah,
I want you to have, what I want you to experience is quality in education, quality in delivery, particularly for folks who are data engineering aspirants. They learn they something with which they can understand the basics. So we'll start from the ground up, but it will not be theory, it'll be hands-on, which 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 covers the basic stuff
yeah,
with case studies. The case studies method is the best because it gives you exposure to life problems and how to solve them. Because if I study fragments or basic concepts high level, but I do not know how to apply them in interviews or in real life, there is there is no fun in learning. Anybody can pick up any book on PySpark or Python or here and there, and they say I have done. People behave. I think the other day Sanjay and I were discussing. Aradhya was also there with us. He said people have the habit of behaving like a school child. Some people, not everybody, people, they
mm,
think, let me do this one class, then I'll do this class number two. Asa, if you have this class mentality, you are not going to be a problem solver. So this specialized course has been designed for any. I'm the data engineers across the board who have who are the aspirants who have weaknesses, or people who are appearing for, let's say somebody wants to appear for a certification in PySpark, they want to become a PySpark developer or things like this. Will cover all their needs. And the whole, what is the whole idea behind this? If this is your one of the weak links, let's make it your strongest. After 1 month of this course, delivered very rigorously with notes and with case studies, this weak link will become your strongest link. And then you will tell us, hey Sanjay, you can go retire. Arun, you can go retire. Or hey Sanjay, or hey Arun, you have been doing this for the global community. Now, um, next time, Arun, you ask me to deliver a seminar on PySpark, count on me. And I want to have people fighting with each other, saying, yeah, Arun, I have seen you deliver a seminar. I have heard you in this seminar, but I think you are getting too old. I want to deliver this seminar. I want I want Parul to say that. I want Pratipaka to say that. I can name anybody in the audience here. If they come up and say, I have now have the capability to deliver it on my own. I have the capability now to mentor somebody else. That flame that I got, that spark that I got from you, now I can pass on the spark to somebody else. That is the kind of confidence I'm looking for. So thank you, Sanjay. Please continue. What are the
Yeah.
contents?
Yes, so so it will be 4 weeks. So four case studies, and then like of course, like what will be ready. I mean, like let's say you do this boot camp, like what next after that. So it will help you to prepare for all the. I mean, it will help you to get interview ready for all the data engineering roles. You can explore further if you want, like more advanced topics, and also you can add these as part of your portfolio. Let's say if you don't have anything to showcase related to PySpark, you can add it as part of your portfolio as an additional thing. And like what, like who can apply for this bootcamp? So obviously there'll be some prerequisites, right? So these are the prerequisites. So like it will be weekends, it will not be on the weekdays. It will be 2 hours, so Saturday 2 hours and Sunday 2 hours. So you need to have a stable internet connection and a Windows machine with 8 GB RAM, dual monitor setup, and that is again good to have, not compulsory. And you need to have an analytical mindset, like you need to have that curiosity and analytical mindset to solve business problems with data. And finally, you also need to have very basic knowledge of either SQL or Python. Anyone is sufficient. Even if you do not have any basic level of knowledge, that is also still fine, you'll be able to catch up. So that is about the PySpark bootcamp. I think Arun will discuss more on
Sanjay, could
pricing,
you?
when the boot camp will launch, all those details. Probably he'll
Yeah,
announce it
I
later.
will. I think so. What I'm thinking is, on behalf of COE, I'm going to create a group or something. I'll send out a message, guys, because today we just want to give you a sneak peek of what we've been thinking based upon all the feedback that we're getting across the board. Um, so I will send out the group information. I'll send out this brochure, the other details, and you guys can join. And we'll try to keep it at a pricing point that's like very comfortable for people given the rigorous course. So it will not be like millions of dollars. It will not cost you an arm and a limb. So allow me to have a day's time to share that in our groups. But I'm going to put the brochure today with some basic information. Having said this,
Yeah.
Sanjay, one more minute I want to spend was to talk a little bit about when I spoke about the case studies, when I had the internal meeting with our leaders, I was talking about, like, for example, case studies like retail management, omni-channel retail. So just based upon the conversation we have, could you give the audience one or two examples, like very high level?
Okay, so one case study will be based on people analytics. One case study will be based on retail, omni-channel retail, like basically different channels where the products are sold, and how will you uh, combine the data and then compare the performance and all. So that is one case study. One case study is related to healthcare, which will be very interesting because there are a lot of healthcare related products which are going on in real time in many organizations, and it's one of the very biggest areas when you talk about the in terms of the demand, market demand, because healthcare is something where the data itself will be a little complex compared to the regular ones which will be there. And finally, the last one will be related to your, getting data through, I mean, APIs, handling different file formats. You can say slowly changing dimensions and all these things. This APIs also where we'll talk about some interesting APIs, maybe a finance related API and API related to, you can say, movie related, you can say, but it will be more on the business side of the things, not on a regular topic. So yeah, it will be like that. Like apart
So
from
in
this
other
cases,
words, we have
like apart, uh,
something which is very industry like, something with which you can put on your portfolio, something with which you have the absolute confidence with which you can say, hey, I can do this. Uh,
mm,
so thank you, Sanjay, for sharing. I couldn't have said any better. You have summarized our leadership conversation very well. Um, I want to quickly move on. And guys, this is the sneak preview. We might have other discussions on it later on in the groups. I want to spend a few minutes on MS Fabric. So the backdrop behind this is the context. Let me set a context. The context was we have been running a perfectly stellar batch, stellar, outstanding batch. And I think people who are there, we had Singla already vouched to that. We may have couple other people in the audience. I can't. It's very late in the night, and can't see all the participants. But I can tell you, speak to any one of the students, guys, uh, how they're feeling about it, and you can have your own opinions. Now, here's what I want to tell you. I have been getting lots and lots of requests. I did a poll in the group and I said, if we do, uh, people are pushing me to do a second batch. And I was thinking, hey, why don't I rest this year? Maybe I'll probably do it in February. Maybe I'll do it in January end. And then somebody said, sir, please December, please December. So I did a poll, and about 25 people in first hour they respond back to me, sir, please start. I'd love to be part of it. So yesterday, I think I sat down with Aradhya and couple other Aradhya. There were few other people, uh, and I said, hey, let's let's do this. If people are asking for it, and they are Microsoft also is pushing Fabric a lot, and 2026 there'll be so much of demand. If I do it on February, people will not be ready. So therefore, that that thought led us to develop this second batch, right? So, Sanjay, could you share some nuggets from it, and what can people expect? Um,
Yeah,
uh,
so the duration will be of 8 weeks, and the content will remain pretty much the same as Bootcamp 1.0. Yeah, the first, like I think this is like 2.0, like the second cohort which is there, and like this will cover a lot of things related to you can say data engineering. Like Fabric is one of the major player, right? So these are like different components of Fabric. You have data factory, databases, you can say lake house, event house, T-SQL, PySpark, KQ. A lot of moving components are there, and these are all powered by one thing which is like one lake. And also you have Copilot, Purview. So it's a platform, right? It's not just one set of tool which is there. So since Microsoft Fabric is a platform which has different set of tools and technologies working together in sync, so this bootcamp will have different types of things covered. So you have a lot of important concepts related to data engineering. There'll be lab sessions. There'll be different functional areas and industries which will be covered, and there'll be more than 10 case studies which will be there. And these case studies and functional areas are very diverse in nature. So here we are talking about healthcare, logistics. We are talking about sales, supply chain, financial reporting. So they span across, like it's not just one particular domain which we'll be talking about. And then there'll be also a capstone project which will also have like different domains to it. And this will be the overall pipeline in terms of like what you will be doing in the 8 week boot camp. And of course, even though some wordings might be different from the first one which you have seen, the overall content will be same. There will be some readjustment in terms of the scheduling, but overall first 4 weeks will be like pretty much the same. Last 4 weeks, some adjustment has been done based on the demands and requirements, but it's only reordering of the content, but actual content is the same. And finally, we are also talking about not just learning Fabric, but also about resume, LinkedIn, Naukri optimization, DP 600, 700 guidance, portfolio review, and also like many people have this confusion. Okay, why Fabric? Why not Snowflake, or why not Databricks, or why not other tools in the market? So there'll be definitely like a introductory session which will be there, which where this thing will be more talked about, like similar to last time. And once this boot camp is completed, these are like the different roles which you can look forward to in the industry, where you will be gaining the skills, so which includes business intelligence analyst, data engineer, Fabric engineer, a PySpark developer, a senior data engineer, etc. And who can apply? Again, there will be prerequisites for obvious reasons. So these are the prerequisites which are there. So you need to have a Windows machine with 8 GB of RAM, good internet connection, uh, ability to commit to daily sessions. So PySpark is weekend basis, this is weekday basis. So the course structure or timings will be like this, like there will be theory classes Monday and Wednesday 45 minutes. Hands-on lab sessions will be 90 minutes each on Tuesdays and Thursdays. No classes on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So there will be two case studies or in a week, like either one case study divided into two parts or a end-to-end, like end-to-end case study or two independent case studies followed by a weekend assignment. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday will be occupied in solving those cases with theory and hands-on. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you'll be engaged in solving the weekend assignments and
so,
building your portfolio websites.
so Sanjay, yeah, I'm sure you went fast and but you gave a lot of important information. I'm sure when I will what I will do, guys, is I'm going to upload this brochure. I'm going to give you time to be able to ask all those questions and I'll address all your questions. Maybe we'll follow up with another seminar coming up this week. Today was just a sneak preview to tell you the good news that your questions have been answered. You wanted me to do this, I have brought this to you. Now it's up to you to take advantage of it or not. But um, um, so, guys, the moment I upload it, I'll probably keep couple days to for people to enroll and then we get started. Guys, we are not after numbers. I don't want 100, 200 people to join. I want a set of serious people who want to take on the opportunities for 2026. That's one thing.
Yes, and also like Arun, I don't know if you have some of you contacted Arun, and he actually had to turn away a lot of people from joining the first one because again, it's not about numbers. Like a lot of people, I think Arun has like reached out to Arun. They reached out to me as well.
Yeah,
Can we
once
join the
we
first boot camp? Like more than 10, I think more than 15, 20 people we have turned down, saying that no, it already started, now you cannot join.
Yeah, yeah, guys, we will not be once we open it up, and if you don't take action, we'll move on. And if the classes have happened, you will not be allowed to join. Um, okay, I want to say one very important thing. Every technology, guys, has some core principles behind it. So whether it is PySpark or whether it is Fabric, whether it is Databricks, any kind of technology is built upon. So let's say I am the guy, I am the CEO, and I am working with my technical experts to come out with a technology. Many people I have noticed that when they are doing their projects or their case studies or they're sharing information or they're talking to, so I have been a hiring manager for a very long time for very senior roles as well as the junior roles in my earlier career. I noticed that people, when they make projects or they answer questions, they are unable to talk about, as one example, I would say, they are not able to share the core principles behind a particular technology. For example, and I think I posted couple notes in the Microsoft Fabric group, or maybe there have been some other groups. I posted, if guys you do not understand the core principles, you will not be able to select the right projects. You will not be able to be prepared for the interviews as well, because they are going to ask about, for example, interoperability is a very important factor in today's modern data systems. So they will ask a question on Fabric or Databricks or XYZ, but they will want to know what they're really testing you is, does this guy understand, regardless of the technology of data engineering, does this guy understand the principle of interoperability? Does he understand the principle of X or principle of Y? So there are about 15 or 20 core principles behind every single technology. And the way we have designed PySpark, or the way we have designed case studies on Fabric, we not only talk about, as we are delivering it to you hands on, we talk about the core principles behind it. When we are discussing mock sessions with you, when we are discussing resumes with you, we make sure. It is very easy to say because today everybody can talk about, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, if you notice, talks about, I'll optimize your resume, I'll do LinkedIn this, I have the strategies. All that is nonsense without understanding the core principles. So there'll be a huge difference. I challenge each one of you to go to the best guy and show him your resume. Take the advice, right? And note down whatever they've told you, and then come to our leads. Come to me. Come to our leads or come to me. I will show you the difference, why you get calls or what makes you really get selected, so that you hear it from a practitioner who has been in the industry for many, many years, not a person who has been in the industry for 5 years, just became a senior data engineer, and they are telling you these are the tips. They will, all that these guys can offer you on LinkedIn or is a PDF. Buy my 10 questions, buy my 20 questions. These are the 20 questions which will help you clear PySpark. Guys, if you are going to be a tutorial hero or uh, or a hero, if you notice, as to help the global community, our leaders do things differently. Hasn't Sanjay, for as one example, he's just one of the many examples, hasn't he taken the lead to offer two great books that he had compiled for the learners? He offered it for completely free, and still people are buying. Let me buy this PDF from XYZ. This guy seems to be very popular on LinkedIn. Let me buy something from him. Do not do that, guys. Or if you have a lot of money, go help go help somebody, donate the money, save the money, invest it somewhere. you know I hope my hints are getting clear to you. Anyhow, so what I wanted to do was, before you ask me, I'll give you some time to ask me some basic questions, because we're going to have another seminar to talk about details of all these the things we talked about today. But where I want to spend just a little 2-3 minutes of time is, are there any current students of MS Fabric batch that are here in the audience today? I think we have Patipaka. I think we may have a couple others. Abhijit Pathak is here. I wonder. So I wanted to, without taking any names, guys, okay? Without giving your names or without any, can you can couple of you one by one share about how has this course? I mean, it's nearing to the first batch is almost nearing an end. Tell me honestly, if it has been good, if it has been bad, say it was the worst thing ever, sir. I will never ever go for such a batch. If it has been good, talk about your experience as honestly, as genuinely as you can. Can you do that? So let's start with anyone. I can't see the list of people who are here, but I'm sure there may be a couple students who have joined in. So can one of you speak about, you know what are the top three things you have learned from this particular batch of MS Fabric?
Yeah.
Pratipaka? Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, go ahead,
Yes, yes,
Pratipaka.
yes, sir.
And
The
talk to us a little bit about, yeah, please, whatever you want to say, unscripted. I know that I
uh,
didn't, we, I, it might be a surprise for you, I know, but Just say whatever truly in your heart, because we when I send out the invite, I said we're going to have heart to heart conversations. So have a heart to heart conversation with our audience and tell what you really feel.
The main thing I learned from this course is one thing is like how to build the portfolio and how we can stand out from the other people. And the second thing is instead of learning the concepts and backing then going building up, so it is better like learning through case studies will give a better clarity on the subject. And the third thing is, apart from this course subjects and theoretical concept, and we have a pro bono sessions in between, such that it will realize us what is the real industries, and how, like, apart from the only anyone will teach the course, but how the real industry works. This will be more, getting more clarity, and this will help not only for the course itself, for the entire career. That is what I want to tell.
Let me ask you this one question, and this is open to all. If there is any other student also. So if when you had, because students get stuck in one place or the other, were there enough doubt clearing sessions where we said, okay, bring your screen up and show us where you are stuck and we'll solve it online? Did that those kind of things happen to you, Patipaka?
Yes, this because day in day out we no, happens everything. Then every class also we can ask questions, and at any time 24/7 we can put our like questionnaires along with the screenshot. Okay, even it is the
I'm
layman question. It doesn't like that. It is a basic question. We don't know how to build like step one. That we doesn't like we share it, and we'll get answers not only from the admin and the one the thing is like even from the learners, we can also respond to the particular queries of the.
Thank you, Patipaka, for that high level feedback. Anybody else? Abhijit, I can see you there. Do you want to say something honest? But one condition I have: you have to be absolutely honest. You have to touch your heart and say if it benefited you or if it did not at all. Because I want the honest truth. I don't want any sugarcoating. Please go ahead.
Hello?
Hello, hello. Yeah, Arun.
Yeah, you are unmuted. So talk to us
Yes,
about your feedback uh,
sure.
as a class participant of the batch one.
Sure, sure. So, as you asked, what are the top three things you can gain from this batch? Is like, firstly, is my hands-on practice with the real case studies. Second is the consistency, and third is the deadline which we meet or which we have to do it means which we have to do it and post it on the portfolio website. Okay,
Abhijit,
and
are you near a laptop?
uh, yes, right
Okay,
now I am at phone itself.
got you. Is Pratipaka or Nagaraja or anybody in the batch, are you near a laptop?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
uh,
whosoever is near a laptop, and nobody expected that I would do this right today. So, just as an example, don't go deep into it, but can you show if somebody asks you, hey, you have worked on many case studies, can you give us what your website looks like? Can you show that? Like if an so I'm acting like I'm pretending to be a manager who has just called you up and you had no preparation. You got a call in your home where somebody said, "Hey, I saw your website. Can you show me something in detail? Is that possible for you?" So what would you do? You would say, "Okay, sir, sure. Yeah, you want to see my website of what the work I've done? Here's it." So so shoot a anybody can do that. I don't know I don't know who all are there, but any one person can just share it on the screen. Because what I want to share with people is when people go through this kind of a case study based concepts, concept clarity, as well as industry clarity, people are confident when they speak at interviews. People are confident when they do a DP 600, DP 700. With a little bit of course, there's a practice required and there's work required with the resumes and LinkedIn. But people who come out of this batch, there'll be a confidence in their heart, a smile on their face. Of course, there'll be butterflies. There'll be butterflies. That's it's okay to have butterflies because let's say I was having an interview or an exam. Sometimes it's butterflies, but they are good butterflies. Just like Singla had, it was a good butterfly because she had prepared extremely well. But she said, because she had been traveling, she had been attending to somebody who was unwell across in a different state. So therefore, the butterflies was because of those kind of things. But then, the what was the result? The outcome. The outcome is she gave an exam, she cleared it, right? That's how things happen. So can anybody shoot it on the screen, please? Any of the portfolio website? We are not going to discuss that in depth, but we're just going to show that, showcase a sample. Um, Singla?
Ganesh,
Yeah,
Singla.
yeah. If you can, Sanjay, if you can help me because something might be lying in one of my groups. Can you pick up something from one of my groups and just share a
Yeah,
quick example of what my students' portfolio look like, high level?
sure.
I totally appreciate you being my voice today, Sanjay, because otherwise I don't know what I would have done without you.
Yes. Just give me a moment.
Because I have seen guys, people go through XYZ class, they learn here and there concept, they're given some high level PDF, they're sitting, they're cramming from the PDF, trying to memorize before the interview. And the moment they're asked scenario based questions or they're asked about, you know, describe your projects, your challenge, your action, the results that you had, how do you put it in the form of metrics or
Okay,
describe
I
principle
think
behind the product? Yeah.
Nagaraj is here. Nagaraj, will you? The context is I'm just sharing my screen. Probably, I think you can give a voiceover. I'm just sharing the screen. I think you are here. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
great.
Yes, Sanjay.
So Nagaraja, just assume. I know that you are totally unprepared, and we didn't expect to talk about this right now. But because you're here, suppose a manager, suppose I am that hiring manager, or and we have just called you up and said, "Hey, we have looked, talk to us about yourself," and you said, "I'm Nagaraja, blah blah," and this. Can you explain about couple projects you've done? Can you describe that, Nagaraj? Very high level.
Yes, Arun. Sure.
Yeah, please
Sure,
go ahead.
sure. One minute.
So hi, hi everyone. My name is Nagraj, and I'm part of COE group. And coming to my website and about my projects, you can see on on the screen about my website where I have told about myself, what I have accomplished over the years, and it is a snapshot of my projects in Fabric and Databricks because I do have knowledge in both the technologies. Coming to data engineering in Microsoft Fabric, if you just click on MS Fabric projects, you can just see each of the concepts which I have gone through in the projects. I have just listed it down. Coming to the first thing, we just see about the incremental load where I have loaded data which was on incremental basis was available in the source systems, and how I eventually made it using data flow. I've used data flow activities and uh, a little bit of PySpark code using of notebooks. I have created a bottom-up table, and I have successfully ingested data from source to destination systems using Microsoft Fabric. This was the
Fabulous,
first.
fabulous. So,
Yes.
um, I see that you've been writing a lot of articles. Can you display your blog as well? I know your website has certain sections. So, can you talk about your blog?
Yes, sure. Apart from doing projects, individual projects, and sharing into the community, I do have a blog where I frequently write about the recent activities in Microsoft Fabric, and uh, you can just see a list of articles which I have written. And for example, we if we just look into the article which is there on the screen now, data doesn't just sit in your lake house anymore; it reacts. So it is something regarding one of the component which is in Microsoft Fabric, like how we can use, uh, we can just
So
see
in
the.
other words, there's a wealth of information that one can, if I'm following you as a
Yeah,
professional or even as a hiring manager, you are visible and I can get a wealth of information, or I can talk to you for getting some information about that. Or
sure.
maybe I'm a beginner learner, right? Because I
Yeah,
know, Nagaraj, you had once recently somebody had asked you, how do I as a person uh, um, begin to develop a similar kind of a website? And
yeah, yeah,
you had done a wonderful job where you had shared how to build it, and that is exactly what COE wants you to do.
yeah,
COE basically says you not only learn yourself, you guide others. And Nagaraj has been a wonderful professional example. Nagaraj comes to us with a lot of experience. Nagaraj has been educated he's done his masters from UK. He comes
yeah.
with tons of experience and he's willing to share. And that's the spirit of the COE guys. And we
Yes,
are every person in the batch, the case study style, every single person has 7 or 8 case studies to brag about, to explain about, to talk about the challenge action results from that, and that is the part of the COE guys. This
yeah.
is how we are different, right?
Actually, at the baseline, we can just say that helping each other is a first agenda which in COE I have seen till now. Because if I can take them as seniors like Arun, Sanjay, and Prem Sai, everyone, Lakshmi, and Parul, we can just name them. Everyone have been a helping hand to me at some point of the stage. So
Yeah, I
that
mean,
has
and
encouraged
we
me to
all
help
we
others.
Nagraj, we all help each other. You have helped us
Yes,
with, you have discussed, a lot of great ideas with her that has either resulted in an article or has
yes,
resulted in a demo that you have given to people, or has written, you helped a lot of people learn how to take interviews better.
yeah,
Tomorrow, if COE asks you for the global community, hey, Nagaraja, can you guide this young data aspirant on how to build resume? I'm
yeah.
sure
Of course.
I am very happy to retire every single day. I'm just, I'm there just as a guiding light, but really, you guys are my strength, right?
Yes, yes.
So Nagaraja, could you also in closing, can you mention a couple things that you have observed as a professional? You come with a lot of experience yourself. Could you share a couple things about unique things about the way the MS Fabric was delivered?
Of course, yeah. Um, First, I'll just let people know that in COE we have many, I mean, like Power BI, Databricks, and Fabrics, and each and every tool which was delivered was having a separate concept of a separate way of delivering. But coming to the Microsoft Fabric, the main part of this is case oriented, because when I just started my MS in UK, each and every class has a case study. Each and every week we had a case study which was given to us. It was said that okay, you'll be having marks for this, and you should be completing this assignment. Later, you'll be going to the other assignment, and this is a bridge kind of thing. Each and every assignment was linked to each other, which later on turned out to be a whole new project. and that was the main thing which was asked in the industry. The same thing is happening in the COE fabric course. Starting from the, as you have seen, the incremental load, that is one of the basic part which we need in the pipeline. And later on, now presently we have been done with end-to-end pipeline fabric. We have discussed about optimization, how we can optimize the PySpark code, etc. Something like this. So yeah, it's been a great journey, and it is more still to go.
Thank you so much. And guys, I always encourage speak the truth. If you're if any one person has some question that is unanswered, or if somebody has a resume thing where he did not get help, or maybe somebody got we were so busy that one person here or there got ignored. We are honest and open, guys. Talk to us, and you will always find help. And these days, I say, when somebody comes to me, I say, hey, don't talk to me. Go ahead and talk to Nagaraj first, or talk to Parul first, or I can name pretty much any. Talk to Pati Paka, because all these guys are true professionals. Everybody has been willing to help me, and I'm so happy that I'm amidst. Uh, I mean, among such graceful professionals. So, having said that, guys, I would like to thank Sanjay for being my voice today and giving some of his ideas on DP 700 in person. And I hope people that are aspiring can take, if you have any other questions, talk to us in the group or text us, or whatever means you adopt. It is always better to write in the group because we are able to not follow every single DMs. All of our leads get about 50 to 100 DMs we get on a daily basis. uh, so it is always good if you talk to us in the group or tell us, hey, whatever the nature of the issue is, somebody or the other will respond to you, right? From our COE team. The second thing I want to talk about was, yeah, so I am delivering this, starting this on 30th November. That's, I think, my high level date, and I'll send other information. But the moment I open it up, I will close down the enrollments within very few days. So, guys, you will have a short window in which to enroll. Don't come back and tell me later, uh, yeah, I want to join, and because at that point it'll be too late, and we'll perhaps think about another batch, if any, later in the game, right? Maybe it'll come mid year or something like that. I have no idea because we haven't discussed. But 30th November, I'm going to start this one. Um, Aradhya, are you here?
Yeah, Arun, I'm here.
Oh, thank you so much for being here, Aradhya. So Aradhya, I do want to, before I wrap up, I was almost going to wrap up, but before I do that, could you talk couple minutes about, because I had asked you, and I'm not sure if you're ready or not, but I'd asked you to come up with a fantastic, outstanding uh, information on Azure Mastery. Because what's happening is a lot of data engineers or a lot of other analysts, uh, people have asked me how to become a cloud engineer, what are the kind of roles available, and all that. And we have done seminars for that. So I don't want to take a lot of time, but if you can quickly announce when you can start the next batch. I think you told me December 8th, but I'm not too sure about it.
Uh, the
Can
six
you can you
six
can you
December.
take, please, can you take only 2 minutes, if I'm
Okay.
not asking too much, take 2 minutes to just put it up on the screen and talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So I'm sharing my screen. Please confirm once it is visible to all of you.
And Ardha, what I really want to know is, let's say I have done, let's say, ADF, or I've done XYG service, right? So I've learned one thing, but you are talking about 40 things, right?
Yeah.
I have noticed that in your first class, you talk about 40 things, and you have a lot of testimonials and a lot of people who have got successes, and people are working for Microsoft and people are working with GE. So I've seen all that. But many people have asked me, and I typically forward them to other people, or I forward them to you. But the one question is, how will, what are you offering, why 40 services, and how will they benefit, what kind of job opportunities are there? So talk to me about only those three things. But I will later on request you, maybe next week, we'll talk to our team, and perhaps you can do a seminar for us. Also, I was thinking, Aradhya, I'm not finished yet. So, I was also thinking, for our fabric, the current fabric batch, I wanted you to give a guest lecture, totally
Sure.
free, to, to educate them. So it will not be to educate them about the cloud computing and the Azure services. So let's maybe we can talk internally, and we can
Okay.
organize a session where our fabrics people who are there, only for that batch for now, we'll talk a little bit about what are the Azure services, how they integrate with each other, why is compute, storage, networking, security, how are they, how is IaaS or PaaS or SaaS, how do they function, how they're related. So we'll not go into depth of it, but you can share at a high level, so that when they are asked in interviews, hey, do you know about this? They can at least talk to it. So I will be on mute now, and over to you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Arun. So, guys, as most of you know, my name is Aradhi Singh. The program name is Azure Mastery Program. So here in Azure Mastery Program, we are covering diversified list of the Azure services. Now, question is, why diversified knowledge of Azure services is required in year 2025 or 2026? So, guys, Azure is not made of one or two services. It's an ecosystem of 200 plus cloud capabilities. Modern cloud solutions are end-to-end, not isolated. For example, on the basis of Databricks, only Databricks, in case you're applying to provide the complete solution to the customer, it's not easy, or it's a very challenging, or sometimes, or most of the time, not possible. That's why having the diversified knowledge of the Azure services are no longer optional. It's a mandatory. So here question is, what why it is mandatory and whatever we are covering. So guys, here the one reason is why it is no longer optional, why it is mandatory. The real project need multiple Azure services. For example, there's a solution. In this solution, you're working for XYZ company. So over there, you have to propose multiple cloud services, like two service, at least 8 to 10 services. Maybe in X project, you're using 10 services, while in Y project, you're using 20 services. So on the basis of single Azure services, solutioning is not easy, or it's almost impossible. The second is end-to-end, architecture depending on the integration. So here, cloud is not about the one component; it is about the how components work together. Diversified knowledge of the Azure services will help you to understand how the data flow between services, what are the different services are available, and which in which situation which service you should use. For example, if I'm talking about the traffic management, whatever the traffic is coming towards your application or data site, how you'll manage them. So there are multiple services available, like application gateway, load balancer, traffic manager, profile. So you cannot blindly select the service. Depending on the situation or requirement, you have to select the appropriate service and implement it. So similarly, another reason is cost optimization. So cost optimization required awareness of alternative. So guys, here in real time situation, your customer will not give you the unlimited amount. You'll get the monthly budget, and you have to manage everything in the monthly budget. So if you don't know how to manage or how to optimize the cost, really it's a very challenging. Example I'll give you. In last quarter, my project cost was, operation cost was $28,000, but in current situation it's around $18,000, so somewhere between 17 to $18,000. So it's
Uh,
because of the cost optimization.
Ardha, I want to focus on two specific things. So one is, show me that slide. I mean, I appreciate that one slide where it talks about, uh, the types of services. uh,
Yes.
in 4 boxes. And then I loved one of the things where, because everybody that DMs me says, "Sir, what are the opportunities? Do I have jobs?" And I tell them, go look at testimonials, go look at our success stories, but they still keep on asking me every single day. So just talk through this one slide once again.
Sure. Sure. So, guys, this is the list of the diversified list of the services we are covering under Azure Mastery Program. So, we are covering some data services, identity and security services, DevOps and monitoring services, networking services, data storage services, compute, and app services. For example, I'll give the area. Let's start from here. Suppose you're working as a data engineer, or maybe you're working as a software engineer. So, you have to retrieve the data from some of the data sources. How you retrieve the data? Sometimes you have to retrieve the data directly from the ERP. Sometimes you have to retrieve the data from particular storage account, and sometimes you will get data available in the form of API. So here we are covering service bus, API management, service fabric, Azure function, logic app service environment, virtual machine, Stealth virtual machine, Stealth set, and many. There are lots of other compute services are available. Similarly, here this is the list of the data and storage services like queue storage, table storage, disk storage, file storage, blob storage, data lake storage, net app, archival, backup, and recovery service vault. Similarly, these are the some of the networking services. These are the monitoring services. So in this program, you will get opportunity to learn 40 plus Azure services.
Wow, wow.
Plus,
Simply why? Because it looks like one program, 40 services, and more than 50 careers, I think. So
yeah,
talk to me
yeah,
about the
yeah,
companies that is using it or the careers that are available, because this is the
correct,
one question that I get like so much.
correct. So if I'm talking about the job profiles available on the basis of Azure Mastery Program, so guys, lots of people who are participating in Azure Mastery Program, they're totally new to the industry or no, totally new to the cloud. In 30% cases, candidates are from any other background. Maybe they are already working as a software engineer, data engineer, or any other profile they're holding. So after this course, people are getting a multiple type of opportunity. Total number of opportunity is close to 40 to 50. For example, if your experience is greater than 8 to 9 years, then what you can do, you can target the architect type of position, where storage architect, network architect, infrastructure architect, solution architect, data architect, cloud architect. So these are some of the profiles you guys can target after it. Similarly, if you're looking for cloud engineering role, then cloud engineer, infrastructure as a code engineer, migration engineer, optimize cost or cloud optimization engineer, multi-cloud specialist or multi-cloud engineer, cloud admin, virtualization admin, security admin, storage admin. Similarly, multiple profile under the DevOps, multiple profile under the security, multiple profile in development also. For example, microservice developer. Suppose you're working as a Python developer, or you're working as the Java or .NET developer. What you're planning, you're planning to work as a developer in cloud computing. Then what you can do, either you can target the microservice developer, API developer, serverless developer, cloud application specialist, or cloud application developer. After this code, the region, whatever required in real-time situation, whatever the ecosystem required, that you will get here under Azure Mastery Program. Similarly, if anyone who is not very techy, or you are from non-IT background, and you're much comfortable toward the support level. So in support level also, there are multiple support type of roles are available, like cloud support specialist, cloud operations specialist, platform support available, and these are technical roles. It's not a non-technical. Mostly 90% will be.
I have to ask you one very special request I have. I have two requests actually, because I luckily found you in the audience today. So there are two things. My first request is, you will have to promise us to deliver maybe one or two lectures. I don't know whether you want to combine it with something else, but you can give my fabric batch, although they're not in uh, I mean, basically give them a great understanding of the cloud and how their work is related to this, how they can benefit from this, and what are the opportunities available. I know that you can give it in depth,
So we can plan couple sessions. I'll have an internal discussion with the Fabric group. Also, can you please organize a you know let's call it a real class where you can offer us sometime next week maybe. It's up to your convenience, but um, in the next week, um, can you do some couple classes? I know. Can we expect a batch see the 20. So I'm telling people not to relax in December because November, December, if they prepare, they'll be ready for the market in 2026. That is my objective, and I'm hoping that many people do that. I'm getting a lot of demand from non-IT people because they
Yeah,
are seeing that a lot of your non-IT people have been very successful as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. True. That's true.
So
So
do
what I'm
you
yeah, yeah. So what
are
I'm
you
planning
promising me?
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Uh, I know you'll be cursing me because I pulled you in front of the
No,
audience and I'm getting your
of course,
promise in front of everybody.
of
Now you
course
are
not.
tied to everybody.
Of course not. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm sharing the content here. Here, whatever the course content are available under your mastery program, I'm sharing the chat window.
So your website is called as cloudvista360.com, right?
Correct. CloudVista360.com. And here under Azure Cloud Vista, I mean, under Cloud Vista, we have Azure Mastery Program and it's Fabric and Power BI 101.
And we are also uploading the Fabric information and the PySpark
Yes.
information here pretty soon for
Yes.
the second batch. Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So
Correct.
everything will be available on this one place where they can check out everything.
Plus, what I was thinking, what we can do, whatever the books Sanjay have developed, that also we can list here, parallel to the Azure Mastery 0 guide.
Yeah, we can think about it. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, Aradhya, for sharing this with us. I'm sure if people have questions, I'm simply going to answer the basics and send them your way, and you can please help them with. I know that you help each person with all your hearts, so um, I'm really glad that we have a full-fledged, Azure cloud computing competency in the COE, and the person. I always tell people this one thing, you know if I have to learn from somebody, I don't want to learn from a Tom, Dick, and Harry. I don't want to learn from fragments of YouTube and fragments of any website. What I want to experience is a person who has been in the trenches, who has had hands-on experience. And whenever I have talked to you, Aradhya, since we ever met, even if somebody wakes you up at 2 a.m. in the night and asks you about a problem, whether it's a consulting problem or a student problem, you have worked more than a decade in this area, so you are able to uh, guide them on every single aspect of it. I know people have asked you such. I've been attending parts of your classes, and in those classes, people have asked such tough questions related to not only the class but their backgrounds. Some people are working in Microsoft, somebody's working in GE, somebody's working somewhere else, and you have been able to address and mentor them very beautifully. So I'm really proud that I'm just like I'm proud of my students. I'm also very proud of our our team, Aradhya. So thank you for being here and on short notice just sharing basic information. With that, guys, I'm going to have couple minutes in case anybody has any questions or comments. You can say that, and we'll meet again probably next week on, and then you have the opportunity to share your feedback, thoughts, or whatever things in the group. So guys, the time is open to you in case you have any comments or questions on anything you saw today.
I think most of it was self-explanatory. I strongly recommend guys, whether you are a data analyst, whether you're a data engineer, whether you're data, whatever, the moment you say data, I strongly recommend you to take a look at, Azure cloud computing. Like Aradhya rightly put, it is an entire ecosystem. It is not learning just one thing and claiming that you're super smart. Although for your role you may need one thing, but then if you are in the ecosystem, you will understand better how to, when you go to an organization and there's a conversation going on between a data engineer, a cloud network guy, or a support guy. If you are multi-skilled, you'll be much more in demand. It's pretty simple. If you are multi-skilled today, you are in demand and you make more money. If that doesn't motivate you, God knows what will. All right. Thank you so much, Aradhya. Thank you, Sanjay, for being my voice. Thank you, Prem Sai, for organizing and scheduling this for us. Guys, can I take your leave now?
Okay, thank you.
This was a random, unplanned session, but I
Thanks.
hope it gave you a lot of information that the leadership of COE has been thinking about. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks, Arun. Thanks, everyone.